Page, Israel Gutierrez, Jamel Hill, Kevin Blackistone. They can pick their friends. They can pick their nose. Can they pick brackets? Settle down. Kornheiser does a Uranus joke every week. Also, Tiger Woods playing golf. What would happen if Tiger Woods were to win golf at this weekend's Valspar Championship?
Is that a Game of Thrones reference?
Game of Thrones, the Valspar Championship. Yes.
It's Around the Horn, the show of competitive banter. Here's Tony Reali.
Jaylen Brown last night is scary enough to have on a basketball court, right? Seeing him able to walk off the court was good. He's tweeted he's okay, has a headache. Terrence Ferguson down after bumping heads with Steven Adams. He has concussion. So in the immediate, Steph Curry's ankle was not as serious, but...
with Steph's ankle injury, it's kind of always a worry. He's done it so many times where you can kind of tell immediately, just by that reaction that he had tonight, it's kind of a worry.
Draymond Green's kind of worried. Steve Kerr says he's not after the 1 seed right now. He's after health. I ask you, Israel Gutierrez, how should the Warriors be approaching the last month of the season and Steph's ankle now?
They really only have one choice, really, and it is health. Because if you look at this team, they really haven't been able to get on a full roll for an extended stretch of time the way the Houston Rockets have. They've built up that confidence. They really know how good they can be. The Warriors, even though they kind of know how good they can be, obviously they just won a championship, they still haven't gotten on that roll. And this is now the third time, speaking of rolls, that he has rolled that right ankle. And that's all Houston is really waiting for, that opportunity that, hey, maybe the Warriors won't be 100% when we get them. Maybe, and it seems pretty obvious now where they have a 1 game or a half game lead, but really an extra game lead because they already have the season series over the Warriors. If that goes to a game 7 in Houston and the Warriors aren't really 100%, would you favor the Warriors or would you favor the Rockets? I'd favor the Rockets at this point. So, yeah, they need to get healthy, but even if they do, they're going to have a problem feeling really confident with that team if Steph Curry's not on a roll.
Kevin Blackistone?
Well, you saw what happened last night when Steph Curry rolled that ankle. Kevin Durant just stepped up and said, this is my team anyway, let me drop this on you, and we win the game. Now, whether or not they can do that, series after series after series is an entirely different question. Whether or not they can just do that against the Rockets is an entirely different question. So you have to be concerned if you're the Warriors because this is the third, maybe even fourth time this year that he's turned an ankle. He will have missed more games or as many games this year as he missed in that injury-plagued season he had, which cost him money on his contract. But, as I said, Kevin Durant is there. This is a different team than it was then. And so the concern isn't as great, but it's still got to be there.
All right. Jamel Hill, let me drop this on you. How concerned should the Warriors be?
Well, they shouldn't be as concerned as most people are trying to lead them to believe. We're trying to drum up this Houston versus the Warriors kind of big meltdown matchup. Look, all I'll say is this. Health should be their top concern because here's the thing. If just like in football, you don't chase points. In basketball, especially when you've won titles as the Warriors have, you don't chase a 1 seed out of fear of what may happen if you face the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets have something to prove, not the Warriors. So they just need to be as healthy as they can be entering the NBA playoffs.
Woody Page, how about you?
I want to thank Israel for sort of backing up what I said and got docked yesterday when I said the Warriors have shown some signs of complacency this year. And you went, they're only 1 game out of first place.
Oh, you thought they looked complacent last night when Kevin Durant was scoring 14 points in a row?
During periods of this season, as Israel said, they've never really gotten on that championship roll. And we haven't seen that yet, as we've seen out of the Rockets. But in regard to the Curry situation, you go back 2 years ago when he was hurt in the conference finals, and it carried over into the finals, and they end up losing. Of course, Draymond Green was the big factor because he was suspended for that game, but you got to have him totally healthy. They're talking about him missing 2 games. Their third game is against the Lakers at home. You can win that with the 4 of us and Tony on the court. So you don't have to worry about that. I think you get yourself settled, and even without him, as Kevin said, Durant's going to go all Anthony Davis on everybody while Curry's out and score 50 points every game. They win without him.
You're right, KB. Kevin Durant is the luxury, but Steph Curry is the necessity. If you look at the way they play, they are 8.8 points per 100 possessions worse with Steph Curry off the floor this year than him on the floor. He's the reason this machine works for that Warriors offense. Again, KD, when everything bogs down, when things are tight and he has to go one-on-one in a half-court setting, perfect. But for the entirety of a playoff run, you need Steph Curry at his best.
And Jamel Hill after the horn.
Yeah, look, you just need to remember sometimes moments of darkness are met with great moments of progress. I just want you to remember that, Tony Reali. From me to you, off the top of my head.
Special, right?
So it's so profound the way you say it. That's something on Twitter. You should check Jamel's feed. Real quick, you guys remember during the first championship run the Warriors had, right? A lot of players, I remember LeBron was one of them, a couple other players were saying, they got real lucky because they had perfect health the entirety of their run. Well, now they're seeing what the opposite of that is. We're going to move on. Tiger Woods playing golf. Posted 3 under today, 4 under for the tournament. Much of the back 9 this afternoon. He had the outright lead. Woody Page, I'm going to start with you. What would happen to the world if Tiger Woods were to win the Valspar Championship this weekend?
What would happen to you if you found my point button to begin with? But I fell asleep. But 12 years ago, and I wake up and I go, Phil Mickelson won a tournament. Tiger's leading a tournament.
Yeah,
Nothing's happened since I was asleep. Yeah. But what would change? The casual fan is getting back interested again because everybody knows and wants to follow Tiger despite and because of what he's gone through the last several years, and having been there at all of his 4 Masters tournament, this would give him incredible momentum going into a golf course that he could play blindfolded.
He knows it well.
And have a chance.
He knows Augusta.
And if he were to win another major, we'd have that Tiger Woods discussion starting up all over again. But I think it's grand for golf when you have the two grand old men, Mickelson and Woods, winning tournaments close together.
Thank you. From our grand old man, Woody Page. Is he getting a little ahead of himself, Israel, talking about how Augusta's lining up great for Tiger? It's 2 days of a 70 and a 68.
We already got a little preview of what would happen to the world because the PGA Tour app melted. It broke down when Tiger was running this tournament in the second round here. So, yeah, I think the entire world would melt down if this happens. I think people really not just want to see Tiger Woods come back. They want to see the Tiger Woods versus the Dustin Johnsons. They want to see the Tiger Woods versus the Spieth versus the Tom. All these new guys that have sort of been running the tournament or running the tour since. And, yeah, I mean, the fact that he's coming back this quickly, the fact that he's coming back and looking good right before the Masters, it's just the perfect storm for golf, and if he keeps this up over the weekend, man, there's going to be a lot more golf talk coming up.
Okay, but I ask you, Kevin Blackistone, this is 2 back-to-back rounds, best rounds in quite some time. Corey Connors was the leader going into today, so Tiger, is looking up at Corey Connors in some regard. Where are we with this?
Well, but nobody knows Corey Connors, right? And everybody knows Tiger Woods, back to Woody's point. I mean, that's the whole thing about this. Tiger Woods could be 50 years old and doing this, and people would still be excited that maybe he could be playing for Sunday like he did in yesteryear. And that's what really this is all about. This is more, to me, less a commentary about Tiger Woods and more a commentary about the fact that since he last won in 2014, no one has been able to grab the horns of golf like a superstar and really drive it forward. That hasn't happened.
Hope is a good thing. Maybe the best of things. Blackistone, Gutierrez, and Page have it for Tiger. Do you have it, Jamel?
Yeah, I do. I think if he's able to win this tournament, this is going to be the most impressive thing that he's ever done. And yes, I know what his resume says, but when you consider all the injuries, when you consider the personal struggles, this is as impressive as it gets. Look, a lot of years ago, a lot of people were rooting against Tiger. Now I get the feeling that more people want to see him accomplish this. They want to see the great redemption story. And for golf, Izzy mentioned how the app melted down. The ratings already overnight from last night, it was a 0.6. So for all those out there who don't understand TV, that's a lot of freaking people.
All right, but I want to get the headline Jamel gave us is this would be the most impressive thing he's ever done. That's more impressive than beating Rocco with a broken leg.
Think about this, Tony. People thought that Tiger Woods was done, that he should retire. There was concerns
about winning the Valspar Championship would make him not done
because of the comeback story of everything that's happened. I know
let's make a ruling on Jamel. Most impressive thing of Tiger's career. Should he win the Valspar Championship in March? Woody,
you got to mention the circumstances.
No, not at all.
Blackistone,
it was his first Masters.
Yeah. All right. But sometimes moments of darkness are met with an even greater moment of progress.
That was not progress, Tony.
Yeah. It's a college basketball weekend. Let's talk college basketball. The 4-1 seeds still in play. I'm going to ask you who they are. I'm going to ask you if it's important to be a 1 seed, or it really doesn't matter, because if you're the 2 in the right region, it might be better. But most importantly, here's where I want to start. Jamel, what's the one thing that can happen in conference tournaments in the next 72 hours that can change the way you fill out your bracket?
Hopefully I can progress some points right here. Look, for me, it would be Xavier beating Villanova. Villanova swept them during the season. Xavier was a team I was prepared to put in the Final Four, but certainly how they played Villanova during the regular season gave me pause. If they're able to beat them, and I realize that still means Villanova will have won 2 out of 3, I think I'd be prepared to put this team as in my Final Four.
Kevin Blackstone?
Well, I think Xavier's there, win or lose to Villanova. They got the number 3 RPI right now. I would think the only thing that would change for me would be what happens to Kansas or Duke right now. I think, to me, they're the teams that are fighting for that last seat at the Final Four table.
Gutierrez?
Yeah, I'm intrigued by Xavier, too. But again, I think they're a number 1 whether they lose to Villanova or not. I just don't think Villanova is going to lose that game. What could happen to me is Duke running through this tournament of theirs, the ACC tournament, and really just being the outright favorite when it comes to it. Because if you look at the way they ended their season, didn't have Marvin Bagley for all of it. They're sort of getting to a groove here. They have the star power. They obviously have the pedigree. They have the coach. I think Duke would become a favorite if they win their tournament.
Woody Page?
If Xavier loses a third time to Villanova, particularly after losing at home, I don't think they're number 1 seed. And you guys mentioned Duke. What about North Carolina? If North Carolina also, even though the losses they have in the RPI, if they were able to wade through the weekend in the ACC tournament and win it, I think they're deserving of a number 1.
All right. And last here, after the horn, just yell out in or out. We're going to talk some bubbles. Oklahoma, in or out?
In.
Out.
All right. Jamel's really into Oklahoma. Notre Dame, in or out?
Out.
Out.
Louisville, in or out?
Out.
Is anybody making this tournament, Kevin Blackstone? Middle Tennessee State. Middle Tennessee State lost their conference quarterfinal game. Are they out? Yes, I think everybody thinks they're out. Blackstone, I think you only have a tournament with like 60 teams. You're missing some teams.
Northwestern's available. We get Northwestern in there. They're not doing anything right now.
No, those teams that are out, they can always apply for the NIT. Moments of darkness, moments of progress, yada, yada, yada. Taking a break right here by herself in 4 minutes. Jamel, so profound, but you didn't know you were saying it?
Attention shoppers, clean up on aisle 14. Clean up on aisle 14. Someone dropped a jar of pickles. Pickles. Kosher pickles.
Beatboxing at a big box store. Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
A red minivan has the lights on in the parking lot.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Geico.
Buy or sell.
Thanks, Michael. Here's a story you've never given any thought to before. LeBron James's future. List down to 4. Cavs, Rockets, Lakers, Sixers, according to the Ringer's Kevin O'Connor. Woody, what does that information tell you? You believe it?
Tells me that these famous athletes are all picking 4 finalists. Kirk Cousins and now LeBron. There's only one place for him to go. Houston. Join your great friend, Chris Paul. Harden. You want to pass Michael Jordan? You want to pass Kobe Bryant? Go to Houston and spend the rest of your career there, and you'll accomplish that.
Israel Gutierrez?
It tells me we've been on this the whole year, and we could have had these 4 finalists for you a few months ago. I'm with Woody, though. When it comes to championships or automatic championships, the one choice would seem to be Houston. But how would it look if he goes to the team that maybe won a championship without him, maybe and most probably has the reigning MVP going into next year? I think that sounds a little bit too much of swallowing of pride for LeBron.
That was the same thing people said about Kevin Durant, who's got that ring right now. KB, how about you?
I say he's got options. That's what it tells me. And you know what option I like? I like that Philly option, man. Come on, go there and mentor a young team. You got two budding superstars there in Simmons and Embiid. That's very intriguing.
Really about mentoring.
What it tells me is that LeBron is concerned about winning right now and also winning in the future. And just like KB, I'm jumping on that Philly bandwagon, too. You got 2 once-in-a-generation talents in Embiid and Ben Simmons. Add LeBron, J.J. Redick. That squad's ready to go right now.
Would you consider the bar lower if LeBron goes to a team like Philly that, came from the ashes?
No, not at all. For LeBron James, given his talent level, his stature, and history, the bar never lowers.
That's a good point. Buy or sell, too. The L.A. Rams offseason, adding Marcus Peters, Sam Shields, and Aqib Talib. That secondary should be hard knocks on its own. Woody, I'm going to start with you because Talib, of course, coming from the Broncos, Denver traded a fifth-rounder for him. Buy or sell that deal?
I'm buying it for both teams. The Broncos cleared $11 million in cap space. That gives them a chance in the Cousins sweepstake and to get some other players. I love it on the side of the Rams because he'll be reunited with Wade Phillips. Wade Phillips can handle both Peters and Talib. We're talking about two all-pro cornerbacks there.
Okay, if you say so. I mean, that's a lot of attitude. Gutierrez, how about you?
They worked in Denver, obviously. I think he can handle them there. Throw in Aaron Donald for that pass rush. I mean, look, the Rams have to take advantage of this. They've got Todd Gurley. They've got Jared Goff. They've got them, at least for one more year, on minimal deals, rookie deals. They need to just go ahead and strengthen that defense and take advantage of this Philadelphia Eagles.
Blackstone?
Never thought I'd hear clearing cap space for Kirk Cousins. Amazing. But you know what? That's what's happening out there. As far as for Los Angeles, this is a reuniting of Talib with Wade Phillips, who worked out very well. So I think anybody who's concerned about him being
I think Woody Page had that first. Yes, of course. And Jamel.
I definitely buy this, and for one reason, because the Rams play the Raiders. So Michael Crabtree had to change. Don't even wear it. Don't even have anything gold on your body when that happens, all right?
Buy or sell three, the GMOAT. Serena's first match back after becoming a mother last night, a win. The win was last night, not the baby. Although she probably could have come back one night after having a baby and won as well. What are realistic expectations for a 36-year-old coming off a 14-month layoff, Israel?
Well, I know normally the narrative would be, obviously coming after having a child and recovering and everything else, and there's a slow start. Listen, Serena always has super high expectations, and to me, she's going to start off slow. She tends to start off slow after time off anyway, but by the time we get to the U.S. Open, I'm pretty sure we're going to have Grand Slam expectations for her. So if she hasn't won one by then, I'm pretty sure we'll have that expectation.
KB?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, Serena is the greatest tennis player we've seen in our lifetime, and what she's coming back from is